Alright, what's up, guys? We're back here with another movie review, and we're continuing to review all of Stephen King's adapted movies, and now we're on to the one I was dreading, the non-stop and never-dying Children of the Corn franchise. Yes, they made like 8 or 9 movies, including one last year, and they're probably going to come out with 20 more, because apparently we need 20 movies about a bunch of kids in a cornfield. Holy shit, this is one of the first movie's okay, but every other movie after that just sucks. Now, I haven't seen every sequel. I haven't seen any of the modern ones. The only other sequels that I've seen are pretty much all the way up to Isaac 666 Return. All of those are shitty to me. I don't understand why they made so many movies. Why are there so many Children of the Corn movies? Like, what the fuck? It just makes no sense why they made this into a slasher franchise. It just doesn't make any sense to me. This one's not that bad, though. I actually, because Linda Hamilton from Terminator is in it, which is a pleasant surprise. And, well, that's pretty much the only good aspect of it. This movie is because I read the short story. The short story is a lot less meaty and story filled than the actual movie itself. The movie added a lot. And you know what? It did add depth to the story, and I appreciate it. The effects on this movie didn't hold up that well, and I don't want to get any comments saying, well, it was the 80s or 70s. They didn't have that technology back then. I don't want to fucking hear it, because you can perfectly do good effects in any era. I mean, god damn it. Look at 2001: A Space Odyssey, or even look at The Thing from 1982, Alien. It is completely possible to have good effects or decent looking effects in any age, except for maybe when cinema was first starting. This is 1984, 2 years after The Thing came out. I mean, Alien was out by now. Halloween. I mean, Black Christmas was out by now. Psycho was out by now. The Birds. I mean, all these movies were out by now. Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist. All these good movies. So I don't want to hear it. The effects on this movie are shit. They look like they were done in Adobe After Effects. It's shit. It looks like you copy and pasted some. The one effect that I need to talk about is the red mist shit that like starts groping Isaac when he's on the cross. Oh my god, it's like bad. It looks bad. And then when they kill the cornfield, it's like this animated monster face in the fire, and it's just bad looking. It's terrible. Holy shit. Like, you couldn't have made a monster model or anything. No, you had to animate something into the... Okay, whatever. I mean, come on. There are a lot of issues with this movie, and I understand why this is a classic. I definitely consider this movie a classic too. I mean, this is one of the better Stephen King adaptations. Not one of the best. I saved the best for the movies like The Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption, The Mist. Personally, I'll fight you on this. Secret Window with Johnny Depp. I highly enjoy that movie, and I am a big fan of the book too, so I'll fight you on that. So I consider that one of his better adaptations. The original Carrie, Stand By Me, a lot of really good movies. But this is one of the better ones too. I personally really enjoy it. Even though the effects on it doesn't hold up well. And I feel like it knows that a bunch of adults being killed by children is just stupid because they're children. And it's kind of like when an adult sees Chucky and Chucky is running at them with a knife. It's a fucking doll. That's why I hate the Chucky. I don't hate the Chucky movies, but The Chucky movies never made sense to me because you got these adults that are getting killed by this fucking doll. Now, I'd understand in the remake because Chucky's like a fucking robot, but in the original, Chucky's a goddamn doll. What the fuck? I mean, you have guns and shit. It's not like he's Jason Voorhees. Same thing with children here. And that's what I like about this movie. It knows it's stupid, so it plays with it. Like, the ending is my favorite part to this, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. I forgot about the ending, and I know I dissed on it in a couple other reviews, but I went back and watched it. I decided to go back and watch it because, unfortunately, I have to go back and watch all the sequels because I remember nothing, so wish me luck. Oh, god damn it. The ending was actually pretty funny. I laughed at the ending, and it was actually pretty cool. I've never seen I've seen it happen in a lot of modern movies, but I've never seen an ending like that. That was pretty unique. Those of you who have seen it know what I'm talking about. But, so now to the plot, the big part of the review. I'm going to go through the plot. What I do in my reviews is I go through the plot and then I review it. So that was just the introduction. So now we're on to the plot. So the biggest issue, well, I'm not going to go on that yet. So the movie starts out with, it starts out 3 years prior to the setting of the movie. And it's in this town. And, the town's called Gatlin. And there's a bunch of people that live there, and they love corn. It's one of those corn towns. It's surrounded by highways filled with corn. It's just like corn everywhere. So the only characters that we need to note are, there's the townspeople, which is all the no-names. I'm going to put them in that group. The Reverend, the Sheriff, and the fucking gas station dude. He's the senile guy with a dog named Spot, if I remember correctly. I don't even fucking know. No, his dog's name was Sarge. And he's very senile, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Well, he knows where he is and stuff. It's just he's a little, got a couple screws loose. But basically what happens is Isaac basically makes all these kids revolt and kill all the adults in town except for the Reverend, the blue, they call the cop the Blue Man, and the gas station guy with the dog. So eventually the Reverend is the leader of the children because apparently the Reverend told him to kill people or something, and so Isaac decides to overthrow the Reverend and murder him and burn all the bodies. So they burned all the bodies. They murdered the adults and then burned all the bodies. So now Isaac's in charge, and he put Malachi in second in command, if I remember correctly. And then they did the Blue Man. The story is he eventually tried to burn the cornfield because that's the only way to kill they call the creature in the movie He Who Walks Behind the Rose. And that's who Isaac... And Isaac is basically like his messenger. And everybody listens to Isaac because he speaks the word of He Who Walks Behind the Rose. But Malachi is wanting Isaac's position. So eventually he does overthrow Isaac in this movie. But that's later on. But anyway, he tried to burn the cornfield because that would kill the demon. So eventually Malachi, Isaac's second in command, ends up killing the Blue Man because a 12-year-old kid ended up murdering a trained cop. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. A trained cop with a gun, no less. Oh, maybe this was a non-violent town, so they didn't have guns. Maybe they just fought with pitchforks. Because that makes sense. I mean, even with the melee weapon, I would think that a trained cop would be able to subdue a 12-year-old. Yeah, there's a lot of plot holes in this movie that don't really make sense, and it's in the original too. The original story doesn't even make sense to me. How the fuck does a cop... Actually, I don't even think the cop was in the original book. I mean the short story, but... How the fuck does a cop get overpowered by a 12 or 13-year-old kid? With a knife? Are you fucking kidding me right now? You telling me these kids went through town and killed people 3 times their age and they didn't even do anything to fight back? Are you kidding me right now? I don't even... Oh. It doesn't make sense. That must have been one dumbass cop. Jesus. Anyway, yeah, so cop ends up getting fucking dead, and I guess they put him up as a centerpiece, and they're like, they have a gathering area in the middle of the corn, and I guess when everybody turns 19, they put him out as a sacrifice to He Who Walks Behind the Rose, and I guess this blue man is the tribute fucking guy. So they basically like put him up as a statue. They made a cross, a giant cross made out of corn, and they crucified the dead body of the blue man, and he decays there. And I guess they say, "Behold the blue man." And then there's that weird tribal sound. Cha, cha. Cha, cha. Oh my God. Behold the blue man. Because apparently this cop has become a part of their religion because they just make up rules as they go. Another plot hole. Why the fuck is a cop part of their... This religion makes no sense. Oh my God. This movie makes no sense. I know I said this is probably the best movie out of the franchise, and I would consider it a classic, but that doesn't mean it's good. There's classic movies that aren't that good. You want one that I consider a classic that really isn't that good? Well, you guys are going to kill me for this one. Mortal Kombat 1 movie. You guys are going to kill me for that one. I legitimately enjoyed the first Mortal Kombat movie. It's just good, cheesy fun. It's not... I don't watch it for the story. I just like... It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. Same thing with Doom. Doom isn't that good of a movie, but I just enjoy watching it. But yeah, Children of the fucking Corn. Yeah, so we teleport 3... Oh, wait, we forgot to mention this. So there's this kid... And he has a little sister that can, like, draw pictures that predict the future. And Isaac looks at it as a blessing. So I guess this girl magically can predict the future through her childish drawings. And her little brother doesn't like Isaac. They're really young, too. They're like 6 and 7. I don't even know. Moving on. Yeah. So then we teleport in the future and we get to meet Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton. And they're husband and wife, if I remember correctly. And they're going on like some kind of trip. And they go through this corn and shit. And then we get this scene of the little boy and his sister. The sister. So I'm gonna refer to the little boy and his sister. The sister is the one that can draw the pictures that predict the future. I'm just gonna refer to them as the little boy and the sister. So the little boy and the sister are with this other kid. I forget what his name is. And I guess he's packing up a suitcase and he's gonna leave and get help to fucking bust Malachi's and Isaac's ass that they just murdered an entire town of people. So this is 3 years in the future. So 3 years have passed now. So just make sure to remember that. So this kid goes out in the cornfield with the suitcase, and the little boy and his sister stay behind. And he goes out in the field, and Malachi pops out of nowhere and cuts his throat open, but he lives long enough to stumble out on the road. He leaves his suitcase behind, but he lives long enough to stumble out on the road, and Linda Hamilton's car and Peter Horton's car, I'm just going to call it Linda Hamilton's...
the couple's car ends up crashing into this kid. And I guess it didn't matter since he was already bleeding from his throat, but whatever. So, yeah, this kid's dead now, and they find they just did a hit and run, but actually the kid was killed before he even got hit. And, yeah, we get a suspense scene when Malachi walks up to the car window, and he's about to kill Linda Hamilton, but he disappears when Peter Horton comes back. So they start driving, and they run into the senile old man and his dog Sarge. Holy shit, this guy is weird. His first line of dialogue, if I remember correctly, was, "Yep, ain't no gas, ain't got no gas here. Nope, no gas. No gas for miles. I believe like Auburn or something is up there. I don't know. He said like some stupid town. He was like, nope, no gas for miles. If you go that way, you'll get into this other town." It's completely retarded. So, I mean, I don't even... So they leave him, and then they start driving, and I guess he told them to leave, but the children wanted to kill the guy, the old man anyway, so they go to the senile man's place and murder his dog Sarge because Sarge walked into the corn. Which doesn't really make sense since all the kids went inside of his garage to sneak up on him and kill him. But his dog went inside the corn. And you're probably thinking, well, he who walks behind the rose probably killed him. Well, the only time he who walks behind the rose shows up is during sacrifice night. And when the old man looks around for the children because he hears them, the car that he was working on, the hood of it slams shut. And he looks in it, and Sarge's bandana is in it. So I'm confused. Was there multiple kids hanging in the corn? That doesn't make sense, though, since they were all in the garage. It really doesn't make sense. There's a lot of spatial issues with this movie, too. So, I don't know. They kill the guy off screen. It's whatever. So, he dies in the garage, and they shut the garage door or whatever, and I guess they're driving around in circles, which is another plot hole of this movie. So, I guess the kids switched around the signs to take them to a different town, not Gatlin, but they fucked it up so bad that when Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton try to follow these signs, they end up running in circles, and they run back at the gas station. If you really don't want people to get to Gatlin, then you should probably fix the signs. I'm just saying. It's pretty bad. So they end up driving into Gatlin, and they drive past the gas station again to get there. And they don't end up seeing his dead body, but they drive past there. Also, they took the suitcase that the kid was carrying earlier, and they put the kid's body in the trunk to take to the authorities, which is another plot hole of this movie. They don't reference, after they start getting in trouble with the kids, they don't reference the body in the trunk at all anymore. They just say, fuck it, let's leave the car behind. They don't even say that. They just fucking leave the car behind. Like at the end of the movie, they show back up at the car, and then they just hang around it. Then there's like another battle, and yeah, they just fucking leave the car. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. A, why was the kid leaving anyway? Did he really think he was going to get that far? I mean, there's like fucking highway everywhere. It doesn't make sense. The plot holes on this movie. There's another thing. There is no radio tower in the movie at all. But in the beginning of the movie, Linda Hamilton is flipping through the radio stations, and it's the preacher from 3 years earlier. But there is no radio tower in this movie. The town has no radio tower. So how the fuck would this be being broadcast? This movie is... Oh, it's the best out of the Children of the Corn franchise, but it makes no sense. Even the original doesn't make sense. The fucking story that it was based off of doesn't make sense either. It has even less story to it than this. This is one
plot hole filled movie. Honestly, can you answer some of these for me, please? I don't understand. Oh, that's just the tip of the iceberg with the plot holes on this movie. Another plot hole is why all of a sudden he who walks behind the rose just decided to pop up and say, hey, kids, you want to kill the adults in town and sacrifice to me when you turn 19? And they're like, yeah, let's follow fucking Corn Demon. It's stupid. This movie's stupid. It's stupid. This movie makes no sense. It makes no sense. Yay, let's sacrifice the Corn Demon because Corn Demon rules all. Yeah, Corn Demon. Because that makes sense. How? Oh yeah, and I forgot. Corn Demon can also telepathically make the corn grab onto people and hold them. So basically it can make like corn leaves choke you. Which makes no sense because Corn Demon can also turn into a red mist and a red goo, and it can also burrow itself in the ground and pop out and possess people's bodies. So what the fuck is with all the corn possession? So you can magically possess corn and people? What? What kind of demon is this? Next thing you know, we're going to have a tomato demon. Oh, wait, that already happened with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. My God, what the fuck? I mean, I honestly wonder what Stephen King was thinking when he made this movie. Because I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones that he directed. And I'm wondering what he was thinking when he made the story. Okay, so they drive into town. Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton drive into town, and they drive around. They drive into this diner that was featured in the beginning of the movie. And I don't fucking know. There's these two girls, like 13 and 14, walking around with a bunch of farming sickles. And I guess they're trying to get into the car and look at it instead of killing the outsiders, is what they call them. I don't know. There's this whole big stupid scene where they're chasing these kids around town trying to look for them. So then we get this scene where Isaac finds out that the little boy and his sister, well, the little boy's sister has these like ability. See, here's another plot hole. Why the fuck does this little girl have the ability to tell the future? Okay, so you have this little girl that has the ability to tell the future. Why is her only form of telling the future through shitty drawings? Because she can tell the future by drawing these shitty, childish drawings. Because that makes sense. Yeah. I don't even know. And then she starts drawing this shit that already happened. Oh, God damn it. So then Malachi takes these kids to Isaac, and Isaac says, "This is a blessing, my child. Take them back to where they were." And Malachi gets pissed off because they had games and music. Because apparently Monopoly and a record player is not allowed in their religion either. But what? So you got this like demon creature, but Monopoly and music aren't allowed. But that doesn't make sense, since if
They worship He Who Walks Behind the Rose. Why are they worshiping this dead cop body? Like, what the fuck is... This movie has a mountain of plot holes. They worship this blue dead cop body and He Who Walks Behind the Rose. And apparently Monopoly and record players are outlawed along with adults. Oh my God, what the hell? I don't know. Skipping about half the movie, they end up catching Linda Hamilton, and Peter Horton ends up meeting up with the little girl and his sister. I mean, the little boy and his sister, and they end up helping him. He ends up getting stabbed. He kills a kid, whatever. Then the final confrontation, he goes to rescue his wife, and I guess he fucking... I don't know. Malachi overthrows Isaac, and then they pin him up on the cross, and this kid goes out to be sacrificed to the corn. We hear a scream off screen, so I guess he's dead. And then this black goo comes out of the fucking corn, because apparently it can take a black goo form too, because this demon has so many tricks up his sleeve. Because apparently it's not just the corn demon, it's also a black goo demon, a ground demon, a possession demon, and a possession of corn demon. And it's also a demon. Yeah, this religion makes a lot of sense. Oh boy, so Isaac ends up getting killed, but then it possesses Isaac's body because this... Explain this to me. So... It takes this form of this black goo, and it comes out of the corn, and it starts coursing its way up this giant crucifix that has Isaac pinned to it. And he's screaming his head off and stuff, and it starts, like, absorbing him. And when it finally absorbs all of him, it, like, shoots up like a fucking bottle rocket and lands into the fucking corn somewhere. I don't even know. And he got free somehow, and he comes out of the corn, and I guess he fucking breaks Malachi's neck. Then what was the point of him shooting up in the air? Oh my God, what the hell? Why did he shoot up in the air? Why was that necessary? It's stupid. And the sound effect that they used for it too, it sounded like an explosion. It's like, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. This Children of the Corn is a stupid story if you really look at it closely. It's stupid. The plot holes in this story, and it's even worse than the short story too, because it makes no sense. Because the short story has even less detail than the movie. Oh, God damn it. Okay, what next? So they end up burning the corn. What do you fucking do? And then we get the end of the movie, which is probably the only redeemable part about this movie other than Linda Hamilton, and it's self-aware that it's stupid. Yeah, so I guess one of the Children of the Corn people end up hiding somewhere, and I don't fucking know. Fuck this movie. Yeah, so movie ends with Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton adopting the little boy and his sister. Yay. Then another plot hole is, so she's drawing these pictures that have nothing to do with the plot and do not affect the plot at all. Literally, they don't affect the plot at all. Like, whenever she draws these pictures, they look at it and they literally don't stop any of these scenes from happening. It makes no sense. So it's literally her being able to draw these pictures is literally dropped halfway through the movie, and they don't even talk about it. It makes no sense. So I'm going to give Children of the Corn a, now that I really think about it, I'm going to give this one a D because it's bad. So remember to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Oh, one more thing. It only gets worse with this series. I got 7 more Children of the Corn movies, and they get worse as they go. I mean, what the hell? They get really bad. So get prepared for that. I mean, the 6th one is called Isaac 666, Isaac's Return. I mean, If that's not a dumb title, then I don't know what is. So remember to leave a comment, like, and subscribe.